And I want you to use this exact template for your next 8 weeks. Let me know how this worked out for you, because I know this is going to be your game changer. Hey folks, it's me, your favorite kickboxer and sports science student. So first, let me give you a theoretical background. So the role of strength and conditioning is of its general nature an integral part of the sport, because when you think about fighting, as it is the most athletic thing in the goddamn world. When you look at the UFC fighters, at the glory kickboxers, at all the people that fighting on a professional level, they don't look like a couch potato, they look fit, they look shredded, they all have muscles. And why do they have this? Exactly for those two benefits, which are first, the enhanced physical performance, because when you think about a good structured strength and conditioning program, that will indirectly also affect your physical performance in your martial art, with the means for you can punch harder, you can escape faster, you have more strength and endurance in rolling. We talk about enhanced physical performance, we can divide this further into 3 categories. We can divide it into power, strength and endurance work. I'm gonna give you exercises for all of the 3 of those in this training plan that I'm about to show you in a couple of minutes. But first we need to get the basics done, that we're all on the same level, right? The next thing that a lot of people don't think of is the risk of injury reduction. Because when you think about how do you get better at your sport, it is by training your sport, nothing else. And when you are injured, then you can't train at your sport, whereas your competitor can. And by having a good structured strength training program, you're going to be less injured while doing your sports training, which puts you in an advantage when other people are injured. In strength and conditioning, we're talking often about this body armor. It means the shoulders, the neck that you can absorb hits, the back muscles, that you have a robust physique. Okay, so what training qualities can we have? We can divide them into 3 distinguished groups. We can have power, we have max strength, and we have the general strength work. Training for power means you can produce more force in less amount of time. This is mainly determined by the RFT, the rate of force development, or in other words, explosive strength. That just means how fast an athlete can produce a certain amount of force. And we can train that. And as I said, this has a great impact and a positive effect on explosiveness. So that's what we all want. And you don't train explosiveness just by doing some ladder drills on the ground. No, you train them by moving weights as fast as you can. Now, when you have a closer look, we can divide power into 2 main categories in our bodies. We have the lower body power, because when you think about striking, you're in your guard and everything you do, you throw the jab, the cross, the hook, everything that you throw, the foundation is your legs. Because the legs are the connection from the floor up to your upper body and then to the rotational work that you do, that you throw your shots. So legs need to be strong, lower body power work. Next thing is the rotational work, and this is and this is especially important not only for striking arts but also for grappling arts. You can have the best technique in the mid kick, but if you don't have that hip power that you can bring it, then it might look beautiful on social media, on Instagram, but in a real fight, in sparring, then you're not breaking a sweat. Okay, now max strength. This is determined how much weight you can use or move at a maximum level, a maximum capacity. You maybe heard the term of 1 rep max. That's usually something more on the powerlifting side. We're not powerlifters, but we can use some of their training concepts to make our physical abilities better. So how do we train this? This is usually trained in the rep range of 3 to 6 reps, not on the hypertrophy work as you would in classical bodybuilding. That's when you come to general strength in 8 to 15 reps. We are here on a little bit of the lower side, and what we want to make sure is that we're always fully recovered, so we have high break times. So we have maybe like 2, 3, even 5 minutes when you do heavy set of deadlifts, for example, trap bar deadlifts, sumo deadlifts, then you need this time to recover, to be at full capacity for the next working set when you're working at 80 to 90% of your 1 rep max. And then we have general strength work, for sure. We need more muscle, we have more force output and less risk of injury because we're doing this hypertrophy work. That's shoulders here, that you can cover yourself. It's also the neck strength here, for example, like bridges and isometrics. You can also do pulling exercises with your neck, but be careful with that, not right in the beginning. This is then actually where you build your body armor, like this Greek god physique that we want, that we are then protected from injury. Because think about it, think about the striking art, kickboxing or Muay Thai, for example. You get a lot of shots to the head, and what holds your head is the neck here. this around these muscles, the traps here on the backside of your head, hold your head in position to not fall on the side. So we want to train them, and we want to train them good and heavy. All right, moving on. Enough theory, go into planning. Okay, let's have a look at a 1 week microcycle. Additional to what I said before, we can have a look at the exercises or at the movement patterns that our body can make. When you go to a gym and you ask the gym bro there, he would say like push-pull legs, but we can distinguish this a little bit more to our martial arts practice specific. We can have the pressing exercise, that's usually the push, then the pulling exercises, then legs we can divide into two things. This is the squatting variation and the hinge variation. The difference is just that here you are more dominant on the front sides, on the quadriceps. This is all the lowering of the body. And you have all the squatting variations like the normal squat, single leg squat, for example, a pistol squat and so on. And the hinge variation has more to do with the hip movement, which is bringing your hip back and in front again. So this would be all your deadlifts, your deadlift variations, your sumo deadlift, your conventional, your hex bar deadlift, your Romanian deadlifts, and also something like back extensions in all its variations. And when we combine now this with what I showed you before into a foundation exercise plan, that we want to have these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 exercises trained throughout the week in our 2-day split. This would be first the power work. This is lower body power and rotational power. Next then pressing, pulling, and then squatting and hinging. Those 4 exercises here don't make that high of a difference when you do it in your training schedule, but you want to make sure that you always have the power work at the very first. Then comes max strength work, and then comes general strength work. Okay, and when we now look at a schedule of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday of a martial arts athlete, then we would usually have sparring or hard training session, competition preparation sessions at the beginning of the week when they are the freshest. That makes the most sense. Next then we have Wednesday and Friday, for example, martial arts practice. Then we have 2 days in between that we can recover then in the middle day, so we go to the gym there. And then on Saturday there's competition, some endurance work, some light technical work, for example, and Sunday would be rest, that we can then recover to do everything again. What is important is that you have at least 1 day between your gym sessions because you want to recover. Because believe me, when you do this plan, you will feel it. You really will feel it. Okay, what are we going to do now? So in this here is now exactly what I want you to do. We have 2 days, 2 separate days, Tuesday and Thursday. We start day 1 with trap bar jumps. This is our lower body power work that we want to do. This is a great exercise for starters because it is very easy to perform and it's not on the heavy technical side like, for example, Olympic weightlifting. Those would be better, but it's hard to learn them, and often we don't have the time to learn the technique. We just need to get the work done right in fight camp. So after you have our lower body work done, we go to the bench press. This is on purpose because with the trap bar jumps we trained our leg. We trained the glutes, the quadriceps and the core, and more or less our whole lower body. Now we need to get it rested. Now we do the bench press. This is now the pushing movement that we want to make sure that we get in. While we do the bench press, our legs can recover to then go into squats. Here you can do single leg squats, or you can just do regular squats, you can do high bar squats, low bar squats, you can use something like a squat board, which is a really good exercise for starters to keep that upright posture. And after the squats we then go to pull-ups, and here we want to make sure that we are not just doing pull-ups, but when you can add external resistance, use a kettlebell, use a weight plate to really work on the strength of your back, because remember, strength work is done into the 3 to 6 rep ranges. When you can do 15 pull-ups, add some more weight. Please get stronger. And after we have done this, now we go to the hinge motion in this whole day. We go to the back extension. You can have here also different variations. You can have 45 degree, you can have a 90 degree, whatever. A GHD is also good. But here, same with the pull-ups. When you can, use external weight to make the back stronger. The lower back, but also the glutes and also the hamstrings we are working with. Next, day 2. Here we do now our rotational work. We have rotational medicine ball throws. This is a great exercise that if you want, we can also make a video about this for developing rotational work. This is a so-called ballistic exercise, as well as trap bar jumps. And ballistic exercises is what you want to do when we work on power. Exercise is basically just something that doesn't slow us down when the rep ends. So for example, when you do the deadlift, you get slower when you come to the top point. With the trap bar jump, you just jump, you don't get slower. Gravity pulls you down. Same with the rotational med ball throw. You just throw the ball. And that's what we want when we want to develop power. Next time we go to some sort of deadlift variation. I put here, or this is by the way, this is exactly what I'm doing right now. The trap bar deadlift, because it feels a little bit more stable for me. You can also do a conventional deadlift or a sumo deadlift when you're a pussy, but that's okay. And then we need some rest for the legs. We go now to the overhead press. This is really your upper body strength work. When you can perform an overhead press with your own body weight, then I would say you have become a strong man or a strong woman. You hear a lot of people talking about you need to do side lateral raises for your shoulders. Yeah, okay, but it's about overload. It's about increased stimulus. How much can you overload a side lateral raise? Well, you can do maybe 10 kilos, 15, 20, and then you start to swing. Now with the overhead press and with the barbell especially, you can always add a little bit more. And the good thing is that you have greater weights. You have greater weights, that means greater stimulus for the muscle to grow. After that, we go to hip thrusts to have the hinge motion as well, so that we have trained it twice in the week, and then something for the back, for the lower back, for the traps here, and also for the lats. We do single arm rows. This is a great exercise to really bust out now last couple of drops of energy that you have, and this is really one of my favorite gym bro exercises that I do. I want you to use this exact template and then write me on Instagram at Martial Arts Viking. How is your experience with this? I'm genuinely interested because I want to develop myself always in the next level, in the next state. If you find this useful, please leave a like. And if you need a basic strength program before you do all this specific work here, have a look at the video description. I've linked to my program that I did the first couple of years to build a baseline of strength and athleticism.